Hey, I'm Sheil Kapadia, senior NFL writer for The Athletic, bringing you bold predictions for the 2021 NFL season. To read all my predictions, you can subscribe to The Athletic. Prediction: the Los Angeles Chargers are going to win 11 games and advance to the divisional round of the AFC playoffs. Now, Chargers fans, I know you're sick of hearing this. Every summer, some know-nothing prognosticator like me comes on and tells you why your team, it's going to be different this year. You're going to be good this year, but this year really is going to be different. Let me tell you why. Reason number one is the most obvious: Justin Herbert. I still think we're underrating how good this guy was last year. I mean, it is not easy to come into the NFL and be good as a rookie quarterback. This is like Dak Prescott level, Russell Wilson level, Andrew Luck level stuff that he was doing. And so, I like the analytics. I like the X's and O's. I like digging into all that stuff. But sometimes you just watch a guy, you see how he moves, you see what he's capable of athletically and also with his mind, and you just know he's got it. And really, that was my experience watching Herbert last year. I thought he was one of the most fun quarterbacks in the entire NFL, navigating the pocket, pushing the ball downfield. He was not afraid. He was willing to make those high degree of difficulty, tight window throws. And what really stood out with Herbert is that he was not operating under ideal circumstances. I mean, this coaching staff, for some reason, thought that they needed to establish the run, achieve balance with their run game and their pass game, even though their run game was one of the worst in the NFL and they had this potentially transcendent quarterback. So they approached games in a terrible way. The offensive line was terrible, but even given all those things, this guy performed. And I think it's going to be a lot different this year with head coach Brandon Staley and new offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi. If you've seen some of those clips that the Chargers team account has posted on Twitter, it's Brandon Staley saying, hey, we're going to have a downfield passing attack. We are going to have the best passing game in the NFL. That made me feel all tingly inside. They know they've got a special talent here. They know that they need to capitalize what they have, maximize what they have with Justin Herbert. And that's why he's going to have a monster season with this coaching staff. Reason number two: better coaching with Brandon Staley. Anyone who watched a Chargers game last year, it was maddening. I mean, the basics of in-game management with that coaching staff, they were not able to accomplish. I'm talking about things like calling timeouts at the right time, deciding whether to punt, go for it on fourth down, when to kick a field goal. I mean, it was week after week that they were making mistakes in that area. Even just getting the special teams unit on the field. I mean, I can just picture Anthony Lynn's face on the sideline being upset that they don't have the right guys on the field. They've got to waste a timeout. I mean, this was the worst in-game management of any team in the NFL last year. It's going to be different this year. Listen, I don't know if Brandon Staley's going to come in and all of a sudden just know exactly what he's doing and be a whiz with all that stuff. There are going to be growing pains probably. You have to learn on the job a little bit. He's a first-time head coach, but I know he's thinking about that stuff because you can hear it with the way he talks here during training camp and in the preseason. He's going to have a plan with his in-game management. Let's be honest, it cannot be worse than last year. So even if they just reach that baseline level of competency, it's going to be a huge upgrade on what the Chargers had last season. Reason number three: a better offensive line. You look at it last year, ESPN tracks this metric called pass block win rate. Basically all it does, it looks at how often does protection hold up for 2.5 seconds after the snap. Guess where the Chargers ranked in that category? 31st in the NFL. Justin Herbert was dealing with terrible pass protection on a weekly basis. He still made it work. To the Chargers' credit, they realized that too. They went out and they aggressively upgraded their offensive line. They signed all-pro center Corey Linsley. In the first round of the draft, they take left tackle Rashawn Slater. They signed veterans like Oday Abushi and Matt Filer. Listen, those guys are not going to make the Pro Bowl, but they can reach a level of competency that the Chargers did not have last year. This is the way you build a team around a young quarterback. You overinvest in the offensive line, where even if you suffer an injury, suffer a couple injuries, you're still able to put together a line that can protect him and allow him to make the plays that we saw him make last year. So this offensive line is going to be way better than it was a season ago. Reason number four: better special teams. The Chargers ranked 32nd in special teams efficiency according to Football Outsiders last year. So I did a little digging. I was trying to figure out, how do you finish last in special teams? What did they do that was so terrible? Here's one thing. They had 3 punts blocked. I mean, that's hard to do in the NFL, to have 3 punts blocked in a season. If you look at it last year, there were 22 teams that did not have a single punt blocked last year, yet the Chargers somehow managed to have 3 punts blocked. I don't think that's going to happen again. Maybe it will, but I think it's unlikely that happens again. And then, of course, the kicking game. The kicking game turned out to be a disaster. They had this kicker, Michael Badgley, a couple of years ago. He trademarks his own nickname, Money Badger. It was cool at the time, but last year he misses 9 field goals, the most of any kicker in the NFL. You add those 2 things together, the punting, the kicking, it was a complete disaster. This year, Badgley's off the team. They've got a new kicker. Tristan Vizcaíno won the job in the summer. I'm not going to guarantee you that he's going to be fantastic, but I do think there is a high likelihood that their special teams is a lot better this year. And again, we're not talking about needing to be a top 5 special teams to be effective in 2021. Just get to like 20, 22, 25. That's an upgrade from what they had last year. That's going to help you win games. So I think the Chargers special teams is going to be a lot better this season. And finally, reason number 5, better luck. If you're a Chargers fan, you don't want to hear this. You've heard this before. You hear this every summer that, hey, they're going to get luckier this year than they were last year, specifically with injuries. They were once again crushed by injuries last year. Football Outsiders tracks them because we know every NFL team deals with injuries to some degree, but which are the teams that were most impacted by them last year? The Chargers were on that list. They finished 27th in this Football Outsiders stat, adjusted games lost. Now, again, I can't tell you that they're definitely going to be healthier this year, but the odds are certainly in their favor. I like that Brandon Staley came into the preseason and said, we don't need to play our stars in the preseason. We don't need to put them at risk. We know what we have with guys like Derwin James and Justin Herbert in practice. So I think they're taking the right approach. And if you look at the guys that were injured for them last year, I just mentioned one of them, Derwin James. I mean, this is an all-pro caliber player who is young, in his early to mid-20s, who should be in his prime. If he's healthy, he is a huge difference maker. The other guy, Joey Bosa, the defensive end, he played about 53% of the snaps last year because of injuries. Again, this is a premier pass rusher, a true difference maker. If this guy's on the field for 70%, 80% of the snaps, it's going to make a huge difference. So football gods, if you're listening, I'm not asking for the Chargers to be the healthiest team in the NFL. Let's just keep Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Derwin James, and Joey Bosa. Those are the 4 guys. Let's keep those guys on the field. If they miss a game or 2 here or there, that's fine. The Chargers can still withstand it. But if they can stay on the field for most of this year and not suffer any season-ending injuries, I actually think that's enough to make the Chargers be healthier and a better team in 2021. It really is going to be different for the Chargers this year. I just laid out all the reasons. Justin Herbert, an upgraded offensive line, better coaching, better special teams, and maybe luck in their direction a little bit. Chargers fans, I know you are sick of being hurt. This team is not going to hurt you anymore. They're going to win 11 games. They're going to be exciting to watch. They're going to make it to at least the second round of the AFC playoffs. Remember, you can read all of my predictions by subscribing to The Athletic. I'm Sheil Kapadia. Thanks for joining me.